All right, so you want to future-proof your career, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you keep hearing about this Dr. Yogesh Malhotra, Dr. Yogi.
Yeah, Dr. Yogi.
Everybody's talking about him. So we got stacks of his articles, research. We even found some Pentagon presentations.
Really?
This guy's got range.
He's definitely not your typical tech guru. I mean, who else goes from designing cars to running global finance systems to basically inventing what we now call digital transformation, like before it was even a buzzword?
It's like he's been playing 4D chess with his career path this whole time.
Right.
Building cars, leading Silicon Valley ventures, whispering wisdom to trillion-dollar hedge funds.
Yeah.
Even advising the Pentagon.
And the Pentagon. Exactly.
It's wild.
What I find really interesting is how he connects all those experiences, those seemingly totally random different things.
Yeah.
It's like he's been mapping out these patterns of change across all these different industries for decades.
Yeah.
And that's given him this really unique perspective, this idea he calls building quantum minds for quantum uncertainty.
Okay, I'll admit, the first time I read that, I thought, did somebody like spike my coffee this morning?
Yeah,
But then I dug a little deeper. And honestly, it's kind of brilliant.
Yeah.
So break it down for us. What's the Dr. Yogi for Dummies version of this whole quantum mind idea?
Okay, so basically what he's saying is the world is changing so fast that our old ways of planning, our old ways of thinking about risk,
Yeah.
they just don't work anymore.
Totally.
It's like trying to navigate a maze that like rearranges itself every time you blink.
Right.
You need a different approach. You need a quantum mind, something that thrives on uncertainty and adapts instantly to new information.
So less about predicting the future and more about just being ready for anything.
Exactly.
Okay, I can get behind that.
Yeah, and that's where the whole quantum part comes in.
Okay.
Dr. Yogi believes that just like quantum particles can exist in multiple states at the same time,
Right.
our minds need to be flexible, able to shift and adapt to whatever comes next.
That makes sense, but how do we actually do that?
Yeah.
Are we talking like brain training apps? Or is there like a deeper level to this whole quantum mind thing?
It's less about specific techniques and more about a fundamental shift in how we think.
Okay.
It's about embracing continuous learning,
Okay.
becoming comfortable with not having all the answers,
Right.
and being open to change of course when the situation demands it.
Okay. So it's about being adaptable and agile. Always learning and evolving. And he's saying that this is crucial for navigating the future. And not just for tech geniuses, but for like everyone.
Absolutely. Everyone, think about your own career. 5-10 years ago, could you have predicted where you are today?
No way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The skills you learned back then might not even be relevant anymore.
That's true.
You might not even use them.
Yeah.
The skills that are going to get you ahead tomorrow are probably things you haven't even heard of yet.
You know, it's funny. I feel like everyone's always looking for that like one magic skill.
Right.
That one piece of knowledge that's going to make them future-proof. But what Dr. Yogi's saying is, it's not about any one thing. It's more about like a way of thinking.
It's a mindset.
Yeah, a way of approaching the world.
Exactly. And, you know, it's interesting because he's not afraid to like challenge conventional wisdom,
Okay.
even when it comes to something as hyped as generative AI.
Wait, hold up. Is Dr. Yogi saying that my ChatGPT obsession is a waste of time?
Not exactly.
Okay.
He acknowledges that it's a powerful tool,
Okay.
but he also points out its limitations.
Like what? Everyone seems to think that GenAI is going to solve all our problems.
Right. Well, that's part of the problem.
Right.
He argues that our current AI and machine learning approaches, even the really advanced stuff,
Yeah.
are still 15 to 30 years behind where they need to be.
Whoa. Rewind that 15 to 30 years.
Yeah.
So it's a huge gap.
Huge.
Why such a gap?
He says it comes down to the fundamental way that AI works right now.
Okay.
Most AI relies on analyzing past data to make predictions about the future.
Right.
But what happens when the future looks nothing like the past? What happens when the changes are happening so fast and they're so unprecedented that historical data is basically useless?
Okay, I'm starting to see his point here.
Right.
It's like trying to predict a fashion trend based on what people were wearing a century ago.
Exactly.
Things change.
Things change rapidly. And they change in ways that we can't even imagine.
So if AI is stuck in the past, what's the solution?
Right.
How do we navigate this jungle without a reliable map?
That's where his ideas about network-centric management of dynamic change and self-adaptive complex systems come in.
Okay, those sound like titles from like a sci-fi novel.
Yeah, a little bit.
Can we break those down?
Yeah.
Maybe lose a jargon for a second?
Absolutely. Think about it this way. Instead of trying to predict every twist and turn in the road ahead,
Right.
we need to build systems that can adapt to anything.
Okay.
Imagine a city that could reroute traffic instantly based on real-time conditions.
Yeah.
Or a company that could seamlessly adjust its strategies as the market changes.
So less about rigid plans and more about just building in flexibility and adaptability from the ground up.
Exactly. It's about creating organization systems and even mindsets
Right.
that are designed to thrive on change, not just survive it.
Okay. I'm seeing how this connects back to that whole quantum mind idea.
Right.
But how do we go from this big picture systems thinking to something practical, something we can actually use in our own careers?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And it's really what Dr. Yogi's work boils down to.
Okay, so we've got this quantum mind concept. We've talked about the limits of AI as it is now, and we know the world is changing faster than ever. But what does this all actually mean for our everyday careers?
Yeah.
What are the takeaways?
Well, Dr. Yogi actually gives us some pretty concrete steps we can take.
Okay, because this has been fascinating, but
Yeah.
I need some actionable advice here.
Right. So the first one, and we've been kind of hinting at this all along, is to cultivate that quantum mind. Embrace continuous learning, be adaptable, and get comfortable with uncertainty. The days of learning one skill and coasting on it for your entire career, those days are over.
Got it. No more clinging to that one job title for dear life. What else?
Think beyond data. Now, this might sound a little counterintuitive, right? Because everyone's always saying data-driven this or that.
Data is king.
Exactly. But Dr. Yogi, he argues that we can't just rely on past data to navigate the future.
Okay.
We need to develop the ability to kind of look for patterns, anticipate surprises, and even make decisions when we don't have all the information.
So trust our gut. I thought data was supposed to eliminate gut feelings.
Intuition still has a place, especially when you're dealing with situations that are totally new. There's no roadmap for them. Remember that whole global supply chain meltdown a few years back?
Oh, yeah.
No amount of historical data could have predicted that.
That's true.
Nobody saw that coming.
Exactly. It was unprecedented.
So,
Okay, so quantum mind check. Thinking beyond data check. Any other Dr. Yogi wisdom to drop on us?
this last one's crucial. Build your network. And I don't just mean collecting LinkedIn connections here.
Right, not just vanity metrics.
Exactly. Dr. Yogi emphasizes connecting with people from different fields, staying informed about emerging trends, really cultivating a wide range of perspectives.
Because 2 or 10 or 20 heads are better than one.
Right. Especially when those heads come from all different backgrounds and experiences.
Makes sense. So cultivate a quantum mind, think beyond data, and build a strong network. Dr. Yogi's formula for a future-proof career basically boils down to a mix of personal growth, smart strategy, and good old-fashioned networking.
Yeah, it's a holistic approach. And while obviously mastering the latest technology is important, Dr. Yogi leaves us with this final thought-provoking point.
Okay, hit me.
He says that C4I cyber command and control supremacy is more critical than AI and quantum supremacy.
Okay, I'm going to need a translation on that one.
Okay.
What's C4I and what does he mean by supremacy?
So C4I stands for Command, Control, Communications, Computers, Intelligence.
Okay.
Basically, it refers to who's actually in control of the technology.
Got it.
And Dr. Yogi's point is that even as AI and quantum computing get more and more powerful, we can't lose sight of the human element. We have to make sure that we're using these technologies ethically, responsibly for the benefit of everybody, not just for profit or power.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Dr. Yogi's world, I think the message is pretty clear. Build that quantum mind, master the tech, but never forget about the human element. Our values, our ethics, our relationships, those are the things that are really going to guide us through whatever the future throws at us.
Well said.
That's it for this deep dive. We'll be back next time with another fascinating look at the future.